So, I wasn't intending on doing another Battlefront video so soon, however the videos surrounding the game have been very negative over the past few weeks, and I feel like it would be unfair for me not to make a video that is more positive in regards to this game. Because despite all of what's happened and all of the bad things that have occurred, surprisingly Aspyr have actually reacted to all of this negativity very quickly in the form of communication and the form of an update that recently came out, which is quite beefy. And this should be a significant boost and a significant positive for this game. But the question is this big update and future updates enough to save what is already a kind of tainted release? Now, at the time of recording this video, the update is not out on console yet. It's having to go through some sort of certifications, but it is available on the PC, so we know how this update is going to affect the game for most players generally. It's also been made clear that this is the first update that is coming, and there will be more. So another great positive in the sense that Aspyr are going to fix this game until it's seemingly in a good place. But there is a caveat to this, because we do have to talk about the two negative things that come with this update. And the first of those is, again, the size. Keep in mind, this is just a patch. It's fixing a number of issues that the game is having, and that doesn't mean all of them. And it is 15 gigabytes, so you know a lot of stuff is being moved around. Now, the download isn't significant, but this is going to increase the file size somewhat. And the second negative is actually the speed at which they have implemented this update. It is a testament, I think, to how lazy they were with this game's release. All they needed to do was delay this game by a week or two and iron out all of these very evident and clear issues that the game was having. Aspyr simply shot themselves in the foot. And as much as they want to say, oh well, we were having critical server errors, they were having these server errors during the early access, so this isn't a problem that just appeared when the game was released like they're claiming. They knew they were having critical server errors, they knew about all of these very clear bugs, and they still chose to release the game in the state that it was. And as a fan of Star Wars, Battlefront, and the games industry in general, this frustrates me because all of this could have been avoided with a little bit more patience and a little bit more due diligence. And I think it's just been proven by how quickly they've released this patch and how quickly they're going to be sorting out the multiplayer and the next patch, that they could have done this by delaying the game for a week or two and saving themselves and the entire fandom all of this damn trouble. This game could have been thriving, it could have been positively received, but instead the game is dying rapidly and thousands of people have refunded it. And it's become almost the big gaming stain alongside Suicide Squad and Skull and Bones of 2024. Hell, to vent my frustrations even a little bit more, they could have quite literally just put out a message before the game's release, saying that despite the game being released tomorrow, a critical server error has been detected and we're underway with fixing it as soon as possible. So we ask that players have a little bit of patience and a little bit of understanding on release day. I think even something as simple as that, a little bit of communication, would have alleviated a lot of the chaos. It absolutely wouldn't have fixed everything and people would still be really angry, but there would have been more widespread understanding than there is now. But alas. Now, the first part of this update is that they say it's available on Steam and they're waiting for certification on other platforms. And as we can see, they say at the end here that they are continuing to make server-side adjustments to improve the online multiplayer experience, as well as planning for update 2. So we know another one is definitely coming. So while this update does have a few multiplayer fixes, the general stability issues with the online play is still going to be an issue for a while, regardless of this patch. With that said though, the game's servers are still pretty sparse. There is one Aspyr server that is running a little bit better and is full of players, but when you think about it, this being a new game, it is already pretty much dead. Something that I think could have been avoided if they had crossplay. But as you can see here, it's the few multiplayer issues that have been fixed. With that said though, I did try to play some multiplayer today. I played a few matches, about 3 or 4, and to be honest, it's still unplayable. The hit detection makes it feel like you have to aim 4 years in advance, so the gunplay feels atrocious. The rubber banding is really bad, you can see in these clips, people are jumping around everywhere, and as of this video, even though we have got some updates, it's still pretty much, as I said, unplayable. Now, one of my big criticisms from when the game was released was not having the ability to change inverted controls. And as we can see here in the patch notes, they have made the inverted control option visible. And I am very confused why it was hidden in the first place. Again, this just seems to me like laziness. So it wasn't a matter of it not being in the final release, it was a matter of it being hidden from the player. So why was the simple option hidden? It just bewilders me. They've also fixed a couple of things with split screen, and they've also fixed a couple of bugs in regard to Galactic Conquest as well. We can also see a load of visual changes, such as fixing the in-scope crosshair imagery, as well as some textures here and there. There's a lot here, so I'm not going to read through every single one, but you can of course hit the pause button if you would like to do that. We then come down to audio and hero assault, so they've done some balancing to Asajj Ventress. I'm not entirely sure what that balancing is, I didn't particularly think she was underpowered, aside from the little shuriken star ability, which was useless. And they've also fixed Kit Fisto's lightsaber animation. I wasn't sure what that issue was, but if anybody has seen that, it is now fixed. Now this is definitely going to make some people happy, and that is they have fixed the Battlefront 1 loading screen sounds. People were really angry about this, and that has been rectified. And as we can see, there is a few more general bug fixes, such as collision issues, soft locking, and the notorious Death Star bug, which is nice to see. Also, one big thing that they seem to have neglected to put on this list for some unknown reason is the restoration of the end mission cutscenes during the campaign. In fact, I was only made aware of this due to Battlefront Updates video, so I went into the campaign myself and I played a few missions, and I can also confirm that the cutscenes at the end of these missions are back in the game. However, that doesn't mean all of them are. I haven't played the campaign through to the end, but the first 3 or 4 definitely are back. I have no clue why they wouldn't put this in the patch notes, because this is something that upset a lot of people, but it is there, so that's a win. So that is everything in the first patch for Battlefront Classic Collection. We know that another patch is coming later down the line, but I think we have to look at things holistically here. We can be very honest in saying that these updates in the patch to this game is a great start, and it's nice to see Aspyr responding and being willing to make some positive changes. But the problem is, I personally don't think this is going to make much of a difference. Even if they do fix the multiplayer and they do fix all of the major issues that have been plaguing the game, I think the damage has already been done. It's easy to look at other games that have had really botched releases that have been fixed over time and thrived post-release. However, this is a re-release of a very old game. I don't think it's going to get the same luxury, especially when a lot of people who bought this game have instead bought the original game, or can at the very least choose to buy it. And as I mentioned a little bit earlier, I really do think the lack of crossplay is going to be almost the final nail in the coffin for this game. If they had crossplay in spite of these issues, I think the populations would have felt a lot more bustling, and there would have been a lot more reason for players to come back and try these fixes, knowing that they were going to get into full matches. But if you look at the population count of this game on Steam, you know there's less than 1,000 people playing this game. For the amount of hype and the amount of excitement pre-release, that is atrocious. The original has a similar amount of people playing the game, and thousands are actually playing EA's Battlefront 2. So while I do hope that this game gets its resurgence and Aspyr release a bunch of really good updates, and I'm looking forward to seeing this game getting fixed, I don't believe it's going to make much of a difference. But I'm really happy to be proven wrong, so time will tell. Anyway, that is enough from me, because I'd love for you to let me know down in the comment section below if you're going to give the Battlefront Classic Collection a chance now that we know Aspyr are at least going to be supporting the game with updates. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit the like button, it helps me out so much, and if you haven't, perhaps consider subscribing to join my wonderful Star Wars community. And if you want some more awesome Star Wars content, you should check this video out. It details the tragic reason why Darth Malak was bald. I'll see you there.